Kiwi FM.
The Radio Wammo.
Kiwi FM.
102.2 Auckland.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Game junkie, Gerard Campbell.
Oh, it's the sound of warfare. It's the sound of a battlefield. In particular, this is Battlefield 2. Bad Company 2, or Battlefield Bad Company 2. To tell us more about it, it's only just in demo phase at the moment. Gerard Campbell, game junkie at stuff.co.nz, and the Game Junkie blog over there. And on Twitter, it's Game Junkie NZ. G'day there, Gerard.
Good morning, Wammo. I was going to do a good morning Vietnam there, but didn't quite pull it off.
We'll leave that to the pros.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
This is only in demo at the moment, this game. Out on PC and on Xbox. Have you had a wee go?
Yes, I've had a wee go on the PC beta, and I'll come straight out that I'm not one of the world's best multiplayer gamers. I do tend to suck sometimes, but there's just something about online gaming. There's that allure that you want to play with live people. That unpredictability, that teamwork, and this I'm really impressed with this beta. As I said, it's only beta form, so it's only one level. If I'm correct, I think it's level set in something called Port Valdez, which, as you can see from the trailer, it's a snowy wilderness. But it's the rounds that I've played over the last week, and I think you've had a wee crack too on the Xbox, Wammo, that it's full on mayhem, and it's just war-based combat at its best, I think.
Even but now tell me, because I haven't played Modern Warfare 2. How does the gameplay in this and the graphics and everything stack up against Modern Warfare 2?
I think that in terms of the gameplay, I think that Bad Company 2 multiplayer is more realistic. I think that's the big difference, I think, with Modern Warfare against Modern Warfare 2. And graphically, I think what I'm really impressed with is that in the first game, the first Bad Company, the story in Bad Company, the single player, was that you were a member of 4 US soldiers who went AWOL from the US Army, in search of gold bullion and gold reserves that were, hidden by the dictators of this country that you were invading. So you went AWOL. And in the multiplayer, you had similar sorts of modes, and here with this beta and I think the Xbox demo, you've just got a mode called Rush, which essentially is you've got your attackers and your defenders, and your attackers have to attack two designated points, which the defenders have to defend, and then if they get lost, then you move back to the next 2 set of points, and I think after that it's complete. But I think something that has really impressed me about this demo is the level of destruction, and the environmental destruction that you can get with it.
So everything around you can be destroyed in some way.
I'm pretty sure, because in the first Bad Company, you could shoot certain parts of buildings. You could jump in a tank and you could blow off the side of a building. And you'd see side of the building fall down. You could see where there were cutouts, and that was really cool. But the developers, DICE, I think Swedish developer, have really taken Bad Company 2 to the next level. That it's the level of destruction. I noticed that with one of the rounds last week. When you start the level, everything in the snowy landscape, and there's water to one side, and you can see a city in the background, in the distance, and the level started out fairly pristine and sort of untouched, if you will. And another thing that I like is that you drop in, you're parachuting in, which is really great. And then by the end of the round, buildings, 3-story or 4-story building that was in there that was ideal for a sniper position, was decimated. There was rubble, there was masonry, there was everything, and trees, stands of trees that are nicely on a rows, they're shattered and they're splintered by the end of the round. So I think it's up the ante that, the level of destruction, and I've liked being a sniper in some of these rounds, so, it's nice finding a nice rocky outcrop and picking off foes, but you have to be careful because even if you're hiding behind, the cover of a few trees, those trees can get destroyed around you. So you really have to, you have to think. You have to think very tactically, and games like this, you've got to work together with your teammates as well.
Well, one thing that I found, even though it seems almost simulator-like in its realism,
yes.
It still has a lot of fun elements to it because you can just you can hop into a vehicle, you can hop into a helicopter, a little trike, or a tank, or whatever, and there's almost everything's up for grabs. Also there's that what they call a UAV, where you are looking into a wee computer. So you're looking at your computer screen, but you'll also look into another computer screen where you're controlling a remote control helicopter.
Yeah.
And when we see some of the images of these things come through on the news, the 6 o'clock news, there's this idea that you're some kind of drone helicopter up there, and you're remotely calling in bombs onto a particular target. It's extraordinary the level of detail in this.
Oh, look, it's amazing, because it's, I think you have to have the fun fact. You have to have it fun for players. You can't have it so realistic that there's not going to be the element of fun. But I like the fact that, developers are obviously really researching, the content that they want to include. As I said, the UAVs and the vehicles, and it's actually really great fun, jumping into a helicopter with another two or three guys, and one of you manning the gun and one of you flying. I was never able to fly a helicopter particularly well, but I think that adds to the fun factor as well, because you're and if you work together as a team, you can get your objectives. But I agree. I think that it's almost simulation in a way because it's so accurate, but it's got a nice fun feel to it, a nice fun factor. Although it's not much fun when and this happened to me a couple of rounds in it. You are, I do this. You're paying so much attention to what's going on in front of you that you forget that there are people that can sneak up behind you, and you get knifed in the back a couple of times. And
so do you find any of that frustrating? Does any of that stuff make you stop playing, or do you just want to get better?
It frustrates me in a bit, but really because it's my own doing. I think that with multiplayer games like this, because you're playing against real people, you have to be more aware, I think, of what's going all around you. So you have to pay attention to your map. You can't be singularly focused on moving forward. I think you have to be aware of that. Yes, somebody could come up behind me and knife me, but I think that Bad Company 2 could frustrate new players, newbies to online playing if this was their first outing, because it is, it is a favourite. The whole Battlefield series has been a favourite with gamers for years, and a lot of them have honed their skills for years, and so they're progressing from each new update. So there are some very, very, very skilled players out there who know, a lot of them know the maps back to front. They could, I'm sure some of these guys could run through the maps with their eyes closed and know exactly where each objective is. So, I think betas and demos are a really good option for newcomers to this multiplayer genre, just to get familiar with where certain items are on the map, what sort of weapons are best, how weapons, because of course, as you know, each class differs in what they can do as well. You've got your engineers, you've got your scout, excuse me, you've got your scouts, you've got your specialist soldiers. So I think, if anyone's keen on picking these up at retail, then, they need to take part in the demo, or download the demo or whatever, and just get familiar with it, because it could be very frustrating if you were new to it and went onto the battlefield and just consistently died. I remember when I first started playing multiplayer games, you'd play 5 rounds and you would have died 16 times and you might have got 2 kills. So it's not particularly good statistics, but but it is something that you get better with the more that you practice it.
Good. So there's a message right there. There's a lot of skill that's required. So perhaps get in there, get the demo, and then look forward to the game. It comes out next month, March.
I think it is March, yeah, and I think it's going to have a fairly solid single-player campaign too. But yeah, I mean, I think
To be honest, I'm not really interested in looking at the single player. I just want to get in there and into the multiplayer. It's fun.
Yeah, well, you'll find that there'll be a lot of games that's what it'll be. They'll be getting it because of the multiplayer, and the same thing with you've had that with games like Halo and Halo 3 and that a lot of people buy them because the multiplayer is where it's at. And I think it's that whole I am playing with a real person. I'm not playing with a bot or an AI, which to certain respects can be sort of predictable.